What we're going to do today, we're going to cut mirrors. And I got this mirror from one of my neighbors going to pitch it out. So I got it. This is 1/4 inch thick. This is the hardest one to cut. Now, some of these mirrors have been tempered, so you have to be careful. Usually it's marked on there. Also, we're going to be cutting this one behind me is the kind that you can buy like some of the big box stores. I call them old new orange, old blue. Anyway, we're going to be taking this one out of the frame and cutting the frame down, because I need it. I need it for when I cut my hair. I can't see the back of my head, and sometimes I can't get my wife around to help me, and usually she's too late anyway, so that way I can see the back of my head. I don't know why in the world I'm telling you that, but in any case, this one here is only 1/8 of an inch thick. No, it might be a 1/16. Usually these are really, really thin. They are very simple to cut. So if you need a small piece of mirror for something, then that would be the one to get it out of. Other than that, these big pieces, this piece of 1/4 inch mirror, I use these. I glue them on. I make a cabinet door for the bathroom and stuff, and I just get some panel glue, glue them on, let it set overnight, and then of course it's there for the life of the door. And these are great. So alright, well, let's get started on this. This is about the same thing as cutting glass. On this 1/4 inch, you want to get some kind of an oil lubricant across there where your mark is, because that kind of cools your wheel as you're cutting the glass, and plus it snaps a lot easier. If you've seen my other stories on cutting glass for door frames, then you'll know what I'm talking about, and you saw how difficult it was to cut it without oil, but I'm going to show you here. And then of course this 1/8 of an inch one over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to cut it with and without some kind of an oil lubricant. Alright, now like I showed you last time, you could do it 2 ways. You can put a mark across here and freehand it, or you can get you some kind of a straight edge and use it, but I don't particularly like to trust a straight edge, because as you're cutting this thing, sometimes you don't realize it and the thing starts moving on you, and then you got a crooked cut. In any case, so the first thing I'm going to do, we're going to pour some oil on my mark. Make sure it's on all the mark that you're going to cut. All of it. If there's a space missing, go back and touch it up. Get some oil on there. Okay, then we're going to get our cutter. Now, as I've told you before, you want to push. The reason for this little ball on the end is so you can get a lot of pressure. You're pushing down, because as you're cutting this glass or mirror or anything, you want to make sure you hear that sound all the way across. If you get a vacant spot in there and you try to break it, well, that's not going to break, and then you're going to have a jagged cut, or it's going to end up cracking all the way in the wrong direction. So here we go. And then plus you also want to make sure you get the 2 ends. I usually go off the end and then come back, and then you can move your cutter around and you can feel where you started. Just come right straight across. And then that's it. Now you want to take something up to maybe 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, something like that thick. You want to put it on the brake. You want to put it pretty much right on the line. Now we're going to get another board and put on top of this. We'll put a rag over this. I've got my safety glasses. Alright, now I've got a rag, and it's covering up the seam to where I scored my mirror. Now this one we're going to use, and between the two I'm going to push down on both of them, and theoretically it should break on the line. So we'll find out. Now another thing you can do if you're brave enough, of course, you put a board on top of this or something, and you can take this and then you can hit it real hard, but then there's a chance that the mirror is going to shatter all over the place in several pieces, and then you got a whole bunch of those little bitty wickers in there. So of course the experts know how to cut this stuff and break it, so we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to push on it. Push down hard on the big piece. Take your little piece, and hopefully it broke. Let's see. Nope. What has happened is probably I've got an area that I voided out that it didn't get cut very well. We're going to try to break this last little piece here. Okay, now we're going to get our pliers and see if we can't chip off that last little piece there. Okay, if you want to try to break a little piece like that, get a board or something on top, because if it cracks and you got your hand on there, it'll darn sure cut you. You saw those little pieces flying off. That's the reason you want your safety glasses. Alrighty. Well, we got them off. Now what we're going to do, we're going to get our sander. The other three edges have already been sanded and rolled. So now we just need to do this front part. Now, as you can see, it's not perfectly straight, but being that this is for us, it doesn't really make that much difference, as long as we can have some, whatever you want to call, as long as we can see ourselves or somebody else can.